Well, hello there, all of you. I missed out on a couple of 3 days. I had to go to jury duty, and I had a couple other things I had to take care of. I never got around to making one of these videos. Now, but I sat and I listened to a bunch of stuff that's going on amongst the lawyers and other politicians. Boy, it sure sounds like we really got a mess. Beginning to, I was listening about a new wind farm that's being installed and how many acres and everything, and I was listening to the fancy talk about all the jobs and everything that it has to do with. Well, it's in a good place for the wind, but I got to thinking, I was listening, had people were out there building a wind farm in the Atlantic Ocean somewhere off of Cape Cod, or they might be putting 2 or 3 of them in around in the oceans. But people are complaining, environmentalists and animal rights people are complaining about the disruption, the noise and everything. I guess the explosions and stuff. I always wondered about that with Navy and submarines and depth charges and things. I don't know what effect that's all had on stuff. I know that those big windmills cause lots of problems for birds. For some reason, they're focused on whatever it is they're hunting. And I guess they don't see those windmill blades coming around. But it might just be something that's an optical illusion to them. And bats flying at night, I know they have trouble with those windmills. So I got thinking, with the birds and the bats and other creatures, and all people's always talking about the disappearance of the honeybees and the bumblebees, which all have a specific position in this natural world of ours. There's been a big thing about shark attacks lately, shark bites. Well, and there's been a lot about orcas and killer whales taking out those, whatever those big sharks are, just to eat their liver. And you go along and I listen to all this stuff. Now, I know I've sat and watched, and where there used to be frogs around that I'd see or hear or that, they aren't there anymore. Songbirds. I used to hear a lot of songbirds. Very few anymore. I still hear mourning doves, but there's only 1 or 2 where there used to be 10, 15, 20 that I'd hear cooing. Pigeons, those are rats with wings. They do well with human beings, so they don't seem to be any trouble. But lizards, I often wonder about the lizards. And they got them creatures like the anacondas or the boa constrictors, whatever they are, that's down there in the Florida Keys and all over. And they got them snakehead fish that's in rivers in the east. And they got different diseases and everything, all these pestilence and stuff. Well, I've told you before, I'm a religious man. And I look at these storms, I look at these tornadoes and these freaky storms that are going on. Back the East Coast caught it pretty hard lately. And all the heat that's down here around where I live. But, if you get in and you read the scriptures that I read, and you learn the things that I've learned over my lifetime, these aren't necessarily just caused by fossil fuels, CO2, and methane gas, and all this other stuff. No, and there's scientists talking about some kind of a cosmic wave that's going through the universe and everything. I listen to all this kind of stuff, and I get a kick out of it. But to me, it seems like it's a natural occurrence. Now, maybe the way man's been doing could be that God's saying, hey, that creator of the U.S. Constitution, or that was mentioned in the Declaration of Independence, it said all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, plus a whole bunch of others. Now, it doesn't really matter. Seems if you look at history, everything man does was designed to kill himself. That's not good. It don't matter what these politicians and liars do and what these big businessmen do to put a buck in their pocket. That thing over there in Ukraine. Now, as far as the United Nations and that government, European Union, and that NATO organization, and the United States goes, that is something terrible. That shouldn't be going on at all, and it should have been stopped. It should have never got started. Now, they can talk all they want, but if you get to reading and studying and going on, all of their excuses and reasons and whatever just kind of go down the toilet with an automatic flusher. So, you know, these people with this green stuff, these solar farms, these wind farms and everything that I started on about, they have tunnel vision. They're not considering the animals in the habitat that they're disrupting. The birds with the windmills and stuff. The solar farms out there on all this, oh, it's just desert land, etc., etc. No, you don't consider that. All these transmission lines are going to have to install with that high frequency magnetic waves that are generated. Now there's all kinds of things that man has done that he doesn't realize. That stuff out there in the ocean, that pollution and that disruption, well, poles are wandering around on the earth, like you say, the magnetic north and south pole. How is that messing up with birds and turtles and fishes and things that use the magnetic fields to migrate from where they are to where they feed, back to where they breed, back to where they lay their eggs or have their young or whatever? See, people aren't thinking of these things. Well, that God that I believe in, he thinks about those things. So, I wonder, I wish people would give a little more thought to what the possibility is that God is real, that he created all this stuff, that it belongs to him, not to the man with the biggest wallet, not with the man with the biggest mouth. No, maybe we ought to start considering some of that stuff they talked about, repentance and trying to do things right, trying to do things to please Mother Nature and Mother Nature's God, not just make certain type individuals wealthy in ridiculous amounts. Well, think about it. I'll come back and talk to you some more. I ask God to bless you all, because you need to think, learn, read, study, to figure out the right way to do things. Bye-bye.